Welcome back to another Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning we go through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video, and one person's question will help me make the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your questions down below for a chance to be in next week's video, and if I did comment to you saying great question, I might use this and I didn't, please drop that same question again and put repeat question and get moved to the top. And I'm not saying I'm some guru who just knows everything, but when I'm unsure, I always like to talk it out with a few people. It always helps me make my final decision. And I have been in the hobby for almost 30 years, so I've been here forever. But we do have to do the question of the day. Have you guys opened up the new Pal World card set? And we do have to give a quick thanks to our video sponsor, and that is Arizona TCG. If you guys got a bunch of graded cards you're looking to sell, PSA, CGC tag, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, it does not matter. Arizona TCG is perfect for you. These guys are one of the best price consignment services in the game today. And they take professional scans of your cards, post it to their massive weekly eBay auctions. They have thousands of followers, so your cards are just going to get so much more value. So definitely check them out. I'll have all the links in the description. Then, of course, you guys want to try out PSA for your first time, click the link, use the code BEARD25, you get $25 off. And same thing with tag. Click the link, use the code BEARD102, you get 10% off your first submission. And if you guys like giveaways and my Market Monday and my Falling Friday, download the FANATICS Collect app. It's completely free. Go to Collect Originals and go follow my Pokebeer channel, and you guys can watch my Falling Friday and my Market Monday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, and Sunday, 7 p.m. Central. And we do a giveaway every single video in the actual chat, and you find out who wins towards the end of the video. So we'll be doing a giveaway this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, and the card is going to be a surprise. So set your alarms. Hope to see you there. All right, first question. This is from Kobe Coffee. Do you really think that the 30th products are top tier for investing, with 90% plus of people buying them only as investments and being printed out to wazoo? Yes, I do think the 30th is top tier for investing. It's just such an amazing set, especially if you get it at MSRP or time it and get it at the bottom. But I don't know where you got this 90% plus of people buying them only as investments. That is 100% incorrect. The amount of booster packs that get opened every single day from box breakers and rip and shippers is actually insane. I've been hit up, I can't even keep track, so many times of people asking me for like tens of thousands of packs to buy. You know how many investors ask me for that? Almost none. I'll get hit up for like a case or a couple cases at most, usually, unless you're like Rudy from Alpha Investments. But even then, you got to think he buys 1,000 cases, and then they sit. I know box breakers that can go through 1,000 cases in a week. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. So 90% of people are not buying this for sealed investments. There's just so many other people in this hobby. Not everybody is investing. The majority of people are, opening up the packs. And then the scalpers, they buy all the boxes up, and then they're the ones who sell them to the box breakers, because the box breakers constantly need packs. So yes, the 30th anniversary is going to be just impossible to get, because everybody's going to want to open it. Even myself, I'm a sealed investor. I don't open up a ton of, packs. I'm very cheap. I really want to open up the 30th anniversary because it's going to be fun. The pull rates are probably going to be pretty solid. There's so many good cards. It's just going to be a ton of fun. And then another thing too about the actual investing, there are so many investors. Like, if I had to put a number on it, I would say 40% of people that invest in a Pokemon are short-term investors, and they're only going to be here for a year or two, honestly. A couple years, maybe a few years at most, just because they get bored, hype highs down, they need money, stuff like that. Or, like I always say, they get drunk with a couple buddies and they open up a ton of stuff. I'm not even kidding, it happens so much. So if you are an actual true long-term investor trying to get the 30th anniversary, it's just going to be an awesome set to hold on to. Plus, with anniversary sets, we only get one every 5 years, so it's just special compared to everything else we get. And this is the best anniversary set we've ever gotten, and it could possibly be the best set ever. Like, we get so many beautiful reprints, so many beautiful arts, and I know people are like, oh, you're hyping it up, I'm just being honest. I'm just basing it off of what is actually in the set, and the set itself is insane. But yeah, I just don't like this thing to where like everybody's keeping it sealed. It's just so overprinted, it's never going to be worth money. I have been hearing that, I'm not even kidding, my entire life. Even back then when I first started investing in the booster boxes in black and white, and people laughed at me, and now they're worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And people said the exact same thing to me in Sword and Shield, and even in Scarlet and Violet, and all those boxes are doing super, super good. And none of them even compare to the 30th. All right, next is from Villain Z23. Hope you and the Beard family are doing well. Do you think the Mega Attackers are underrated, as there are only 10 ever made with the new rarity, and do you think they will release any more? Love the content. So I do think they will make some more. So the Mega Attack Rares are pretty sick. We got some as promos too. And they were dropping, but now they're starting to bounce back a little bit. The Mega Gengar is holding strong right around $60 now, and Mega Dragonite right at 40. The rest are dirt cheap. So if you want to stock up on the rest, 100%. I could maybe see the Dragonite and Gengar dropping down a little bit more again, but you're already getting it so much cheaper than what these cards were just a couple months ago, to where not a bad pickup right now. Like I always say, try to buy these dips because the market is so crazy. But I actually really like that they're kind of slow rolling these to where we don't have, 50 mega attack rares. Makes them feel just a little bit more special. So I'm a big fan. And like I said, like the Gengar is just crazy. And the Dragonite is sick. I've even heard some people say they like this Gengar more than the SIR, which was a pretty crazy hot take in my opinion. But it is nice. I like it better than a full art. But all right, next question is from Stevie Apex. Hey, Pokebeard, hope to see you sometime at a card show. That actually reminds me, I'm going to have to cancel my next upcoming show in Seattle at Trading Card Con. My wife is having some problems with the pregnancy to where she has to have surgery, so I have to help her recover. Everything should be okay. But yeah, I'm going to have to cancel that show. You should still be able to use the code Pokebeard to receive $5 off your tickets, though. So definitely still check out the show. There's going to be a ton of other creators there, too. And then my next show after that will be LC3 in Schaumburg, Illinois. So definitely check that show out. I had a ton of fun last time. And that's in the very beginning of September. But all right, his question is, when do you think the summer slump will end? This was almost a thumbnail. And do you think the Destined Rivals Pokemon Center ETB will keep going down in price? I was hoping to get it for around $300 to $350 if possible. That's going to be a little tough. So it was at $560. Now last sold $516, $519, and $505. I don't know if it will quite get down to $300 to $350. I could maybe see low 400s. And I feel like that'd be an okay pickup compared to the $560, getting $160 off. But $300 to $350 is a little much. It's possible, but might be a little tough for this. Especially, you got to look too. There's only 84 of these boxes on all of TCG players, so it's not impossible for people to manipulate this box to make it go up in price really quickly. So you do have to be careful about that, and it's actually super easy to tell when that's kind of going to happen because, it says low volatility right now. But once that starts happening, people are going to start buying a bunch, each day for like a week straight to really change the price. And then when these summer slumps really end, from what I've noticed, is honestly like middle of September, once all the kids go back to school. Because I think there's so many parents too that have to get new school clothes and school supplies. So there's a lot of money at the end of the summer also. So I've noticed, middle of September, maybe towards the end of September is when stuff can really start picking back up again. Next is from Jake Skew. What do you think of the Domino's Pizza Snorlax promos? Are they good long-term holds and good buys at a current market price? Looking at Raw, I think they're pretty unique. It's something you don't see every day. I just love how it actually has like the Domino's logo down there. A PSA 10 just sold for $6,000. Raw, we got one at $623, $350 best offer accepted, but it has a crease. It also says moderately played, but it has a crease, which if it has a crease, it really cannot be moderately played. That's definitely going to be heavily played. We got another one at $209. And here's the other Snorlax one, which is adorable. But I think they're super cool, unique cards. Let's see, here's another 10 sold for $6,780. And that was just literally like a week before that sale, yeah. Not even a few days. And we got a PSA 9 at $1,300. And here we got a 10 for the regular one at $2,125. I know you said raw, but still we're just checking prices. But yeah, if you can pick up this set, in lightly played to near mint condition for a decent price, I think they are super cool, unique cards. And I love getting cards like this because 98% of people do not have these cards in their collection. And so I like, random stuff like this. Next is from the Real Park Dude. Hey, Beard, what do you think about picking up a couple of the TCG Classic Collections? They dropped slightly on UK PC to $374. Big investment for me, but feel these will probably take off once they eventually sell out. Thoughts? So, wow, they're still in stock on the UK PC. So for us, they've been going up slowly, up to about $550 now. But there's one thing that I just absolutely hate about this box. It is massive. And I can almost guarantee you that if you buy these boxes and hold on to them, eventually you're going to get some dings and tears in them, which isn't going to make them worthless, but it's definitely going to make them, not worth as much. But that's the one thing I hate. They are just massive. But if you're not going to move them and you got a good spot for them, probably be an okay box to pick up. I don't think it'll be like insanely crazy, but I think it'll just keep slowly going up, just like it's been doing for us over here. But yeah, that's the one thing I hate about it. It's just so big. I have 3 of them. and 2 out of the 3 have little dents in them already. So next is from Danielle Duh 1793. Hey Pokebeard, first time commenter here. Looking forward to that life-size Charizard. Same. 2 questions. Do you think that PSA will ever drop their grading price? It's absurd at the moment, at close to 100 USD, I think. I think it's 80. But I heard that they're doing this to manage the submission load. So I do think they will come back with the lower tiers. It's going to happen. They're eventually going to get caught up. They're going to want more people to grade. I'd say give it a few months and I think it'll be back. Now, her second question is, where she's at, living in Southeast Asia, I noticed that PSA and maybe Beckett are the kings of graded cards, especially PSA, where Tag and other grading companies are not as popular. I have some Pokemon cards to grade. Do you think I should sell my cards or hold them just in case PSA drops their pricing? Love the videos, man. Keep up the insane work you're doing for the community. So just hold on to them, especially if you do think they're truly, gem mint worthy. But yeah, just check over the cards. If you truly think they're going to be, PSA 10s, just hold on to them, wait for the lower tiers, and then get them graded through PSA. That's what I would do. But like I said, though, you got to be thorough. Make sure there's not a ton of whitening. Make sure the cards aren't like super off-centered or anything like that. Because the amount of newer people in the hobby that just get all their best cards graded because they're their best cards and they come back a bunch of 8s and 9s. I mean, I've seen it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. So just be strict and you'll be so much more happy. Next is from PokeI7K. Hello, Mr. Beardus Maximus. I have a PSA 10 Mega Rayquaza Full Art number 98 from Ancient Origins. Do you think now would be the time to sell it with the new Rayquaza set announced, or wait until it comes out in English? Thank you. Definitely wait for English. People are going to get really hyped up chasing that card on the English side. And it's going to make them want to do research and get all the Rayquazas. So definitely wait for English. Next is from Tuki. Easy question, Beard. My kids have started a hits binder. We have the VAULTX binders and they are in penny sleeves, but I notice sometimes my oldest rearranges some cards for layout. Is this safe to do if we are being careful? Are there better sleeves? So I would actually recommend clear Dragon Shield sleeves. These are sleeves that people actually use to like play Magic the Gathering with. And they're clear so you can actually see the backs. They're really thick. You can like whip them across the room. I really wouldn't worry. So that's what I would get. They're obviously a little bit more expensive than just regular penny sleeves. But if you sleeve them all up, they even fit better in the binder to where like if you drop your binder, cards aren't going to fall out. So that's what I would recommend. Next is from the Fish MC1. Hi Beard, I'm currently trying to build a small Pokemon business, but it's really hard to get a hold of single cards. Everyone on eBay sells above market price, and there aren't any shows near me where I could potentially buy inventory. Do you have any ideas or tips on how to source inventory? Best regards from Austria. So I've actually noticed on eBay, prices are ridiculous. Every time it's a good lot, I mean, the auction price is already basically worth more than what the entire lot is. I don't know who's buying this stuff. The only lots that I've been noticing are lots of like one single card. So like the Korean Ditto, I just got a really nice lot to where, let's say, I don't remember exactly how many cards it was. I don't even really remember what I paid. But I remember looking it up and I basically got them all at about 60% market on auction on eBay. Because there's a ton of them. Not as many people are going to buy that many of one card. But that's the only way I've been able to get a good lot on eBay for a while. And then, yeah, that sucks if there's no shows because I would just say go vend and then you could start getting some good inventory, people bringing you collections and you could buy them at, 70, 75, 80%, 85%, stuff like that. But if you have no shows, your only other option maybe, I don't know if you have Facebook Marketplace, how that works there, or maybe like Instagram and stuff. You can find a lot of decent little collections on Instagram where people are willing to ship them to you if you cover the shipping and stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure. That really sucks. You have no card shows nearby. Maybe, really plan for a big card show that's really far away, make a whole weekend out of it, bring as much money as you can, and just buy as many collections as you can. I don't know how close the closest one is. But yeah, that sucks. Next is from Only TCG Pokemon. I'm new to collecting and had a question about buying singles. I've been passing on a lot of cards that are off-center because I'm thinking about potentially selling them in the future. I don't grade cards myself, but does centering still matter for resale? If a card is otherwise near mint, but noticeably off-center, can it still be sold for near mint market price, or does the off-centering usually lower its value? So a card that is off-centered does not lower its value. It is still 100% near mint. It is worth the same exact price. But if you have one that is centered well versus one that is not centered as good, people are obviously going to buy the one that is centered good first, just because they're going to want to get it graded yourself. So it is good to be picky, but sometimes if it is a good deal and the cards are just a little off-centered, I'd still pick it up. I'm not that picky myself, especially if you're not grading. I'd say probably 65, 70% of the people buying cards at card shows don't really care if it's off-centered or not. They just want the card for the art and to throw it in their binder. But if I were you, since you're already being picky with the cards and stuff, you might as well get some cards graded. You know, just wait for the lower tiers to come back, get a little pile of the ones that you're like really, really sure about grading, and just try your first little submission. Because you could be missing out on potentially hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of dollars by not getting your cards graded if you do plan to sell them in the future. But if you just plan on selling raw, centering does not really matter too much. Next is from Elliot Kellum. Hey Beard, with the Chinese exclusives, do you think they would ever be printed in English? There's some that I love, but always apprehensive to buy at the prices they are, as they could just crash and be cheaper to pick up if they print in English. Is it safe to assume this won't happen? So I don't think that's going to happen. It would absolutely destroy the entire simplified Chinese market. And they're now up to, I think, 35 Chinese exclusives around there. I can't remember exactly. And that's a lot of cards. And they haven't done it yet. So I don't think they're going to do it. But then people always say they wouldn't waste those good arts. But then we have Pokemon Pocket that has thousands of beautiful card arts. They're not short on any card arts. They could make 5,000 more Pikachu arts in the next year. Like, it wouldn't matter. So I don't think they're going to be doing it. And that's why I was telling everybody to buy the Chinese exclusives before they recently went crazy. Cubone used to be like $60. Now it's $220. Next is from Logan Hoffman. What are your thoughts? Will Black Bolt and White Flare actually get printed again? It's starting to look like they aren't going to have time to reprint it. In my opinion, I don't think they will get reprinted again. And if they do, I think it'll just be quick and small to where maybe it'll make the boxes drop a little bit in price and they'll probably go right back up. So even if we do get a reprint, I don't think it's really going to do too much. But yeah, it's just crazy how we really don't even get a lot of reprints now. I mean, look at Paldean Fates. Shining Fates and Hidden Fates are literally probably the most printed sets in Pokemon history. And then we just get nothing for Paldean Fates. It's actually kind of insane. And last question is from @PokeRunna. Hey there, I have a few cards that in their PSA 10 slabs slightly curve either from left to right or from top to bottom. Is this something to be concerned about? Does the curve impact the value? What measures can I take to decrease the chance of cards curving in the slabs? I do keep them in a room away from sunlight in a humidity-controlled environment at a fairly consistent temperature. I notice that it tends to happen more often in Japanese cards. Thank you for all the stellar and consistent content. So that is definitely a little bit more common on the Japanese side. You can even take brand new Japanese cards and you can place them right next to an English card, both with no sleeves, and come back a few days later, and that Japanese card will start to curl. It doesn't really do too much to the value. There's going to be some picky people that won't want it, but the majority of people, they're not going to care too much, if it's curving in there, and they probably won't even honestly notice. But yeah, it does sound like you're doing everything that you can, so I wouldn't worry too much. I don't think you'll have too much problem, moving those in the future. But all right, that was this week's Pokemon What If Wednesday. If you guys like this content, want to stay ahead of the market, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like and comment. If you guys want to support more, check out my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Fanatics, all that. You guys know what to. You guys are the absolute best. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch my newest Market Monday, where we actually talk about the new Rayquaza cards and a ton of other Rayquazas, click the video above. Otherwise, if you guys want to watch any of my other vending content, I have an entire playlist above also. All right, see you next time.